Welcome to Entrepreneurs International Network, where entrepreneurs learn, network, and grow. I'm Roger Killen, the organizer. Today, Tracy Repchuk is training us on how to reach millions with our messages, and Tracy will reveal some valuable social media secrets. Tracy, I've got 3 questions that will help us get to know you. The first of those questions is, what is your greatest accomplishment?
I guess I would say my greatest accomplishment is starting a software company at the age of 19 in 1985. So I've seen every technological advancement. I started as a computer programmer when I graduated with a degree in IT, and got onto the internet in 1992 before it was even that. I knew where the world was going. Um, and I quickly and rapidly jumped aboard, and that has been really something that I love and adore, because I love change and I love advancement and I love where we're all going.
Beautiful. That, in hindsight, that was a very good decision.
It was really good.
So the second question is this: what item on your bucket list excites you the very most?
Well, it's interesting. You have this big bucket list when you begin, right? And I've always had a bucket list. Even at the age of 16, I think I started a bucket list because I'm an extreme goal setter. And where I am now, I'll say towards the edge of the end, so to speak. My biggest bucket list item now is I have a goal of 2.5 million to a charity. And that's, I don't know if it'll take me 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, the next 10 years of my life. I don't know. But that is the goal that I am hard coded to now accomplish. And so I think that's one of my bucket list items. And really, it's for the betterment of mankind and humanity. And that's really everything that I do is towards that.
Oh, that's very noble. Tracy, I don't know don't know if you know this, but I am completely available for adoption. And your third question is this: what is the best piece of advice anyone has ever given you?
Yeah, that's a cool question. And I always have to go back to where it all began for me. And that was when I was in college and I'm about to graduate. One of my professors came up to me and he said, "So what are you going to do?" And I said, "Oh, I'm going to go to Toronto. I'll go be a computer programmer." And he said, "Oh no." He said, that's not what you could. He said, you're dynamic, you're a leader, you're outgoing, you're an entrepreneur." And those words struck me. And he said, you have to start your own business. And I didn't even know that was. My parents were, my mom was a stock shelver. My dad was a factory worker. We were not that at all. And so I started to research, what's an entrepreneur? What do you do? And I went back to him and I said, well, if I'm going to do this, what do I do? What does an entrepreneur do? And he says to me, you find a need and you fill the gap. And that was it. I have based my entire entrepreneurial voyage, of which I've had, 6 major pivot changes across the same company. It's always been the same. But I've had these pivots simply because I was able to see what's trending, what's coming, what do I need to do next? And it was because he said, find the need and fill the gap. And that has led me to a 36, 37 year entrepreneurial journey right now.
Wow. What there was that was a nugget in those very small number of words. A wise professor.
It was. He was totally awesome. And, I'd go back every year and do a talk to his students on campus just to just to tell them. And he was so cute because, you know, I was at the time, I was then 2 years into my business. I was 21, and he goes, "Oh yeah, she just drove up in her BMW. So if you want to listen to somebody who's where you want to be in a couple of years, you know, listen to what she has to say." And I always started with his words. What's an entrepreneur? It's somebody who finds a need and fills a gap.
Lovely. Now, participants, type all 54 of you, type your questions into the chat, and I'll pose them to Tracy during her talk. Now, you're going to be sent a link to the recording of this talk in a few hours, but nevertheless, I encourage you to take notes, because the very act of taking notes is going to increase your absorption rate. Tracy, are you ready to knock our socks off?
I was born ready, Roger.
All right, then take it away. She's all yours.
Okay, and thank you, Marina. Marina says she likes my glasses. Okay, I'm going to take you guys now on a journey through social media. I mean, obviously, you know, as somebody who's kind of seen all of the various steps and nuances of every technological change, social media has played a very pivotal role in all of this. It is really a way that people can establish reach and influence. The issue with social media, though, has become the introduction is so overwhelming. It's frustrating. Platforms are constantly dropping. You don't know where you should spend your time. You feel like you're wasting your time. All of these things start to create a couple of problems for most companies. One is you do feel like you're wasting your time, and you may just be doing that. You might be wasting your time if you're not on the right platform. The second issue is, you know, how do you get what you want out of a social media platform? And most importantly, where should you be spending your time? And so I'm going to be addressing some of those particular questions as we go along. So I'm going to take you through this rapid social media mastery. And the first we're going to do is success strategies to get seen fast, hidden gems to be heard above the noise, the 80-20 rule to reach millions with your message, social media shortcuts to make more sales, and then kind of that instant online impact method to rapid results. So we'll take a journey through it all. And for some of you, this journey will be very much a refresher, right? You know a lot of the platforms, you've understood them intimately. For others, it will help to eliminate a lot of confusion. And obviously we have a very wide range of people on the call. So I'll do my best to, you know, appeal to both, or at least at the very end, I can answer questions about both for you. So the first is to take a look at the success strategies to get seen. And that means you need to be able to stand out from the crowd. And that means taking a look at a branded social media presence. A lot of times people just jump into social media, you know, particularly in those early days, and you stuck with what you had. So you jumped in, you set up a Facebook page, you've got that page now. You're still living with the name of it. Same with Twitter, same with LinkedIn. All of these have now started to perhaps create a disconnected message system. And of course, that's going to affect your conversions as you move down. One of the things you want to be thinking about when it comes to your social media is when it comes to your branding, how are you going to position yourself as really kind of an influencer? And that's one of the key elements that needs to be conveyed onto social media. And that is this little bit called celebrity positioning. And obviously we have the true celebrities, right? We have the Dr. Oz's, we have, you know, Steve Jobs, who stepped out from being a CEO to the front of the company. And that is what was taking the corporation out of, you know, what was going on, and it became a far better feel. That, you know, that's why, of course, that Steve did so well when he was here. And then you start to leverage books, and I'll talk a little bit about that. There were some questions in the meetup group actually about books. which I'll touch on. And then you start to open up your own shows, right? Where we are now online, we can, position ourselves with our own kind of TV show. You can even get onto networks. You can even go bigger and hit Apple and Roku. But wherever it is, you constantly want to make sure that you're aligning a very consistent brand across all of the different platforms. Because here's what people are buying. The answer is they're buying you. That's where we are. And they're not buying that widget. There could be 1,000 people selling that widget. If you're into network marketing, you're competing against a network marketer that has the same widget that you do. If you're a website developer, there's a ton of them out there, right? If you're a real estate agent, there's a ton of them. A chiropractor, a physical therapist. There's always a lot of competition, as we'll call it. And so the differentiating factor is really going to come down to who you are and what do you look like? What is your online presence? Particularly, back in Feb 2020, when the pandemic began, everybody had to move online. Well, this was a game change for those who were already established. We were able to catapult and use it as a launch pad and an accelerator. If we saw from Zoom alone, they went from 50,000 to 500,000 to 10 million accounts in a rapid growth progression, simply because of they were ready for that. And that's where you want to be. If you weren't there during that kind of rise and force onto the online marketplace, you want to ensure that you are now ready to really take a look at that. So what does this look like from a naming convention? And that's where it begins when it comes to social media. And if we take a look at my social media, you'll know it's really straightforward. There's the Facebook, there's the LinkedIn, there's the YouTube, there's the Instagram, there's the Pinterest, right? There's the Twitter, there's the TikTok, there's the Clubhouse. This is what you want it to look like. Now, when I get clients in the beginning and they'll say things to me like, I don't know what's happening. No one's finding me. They're not understanding what I do. The first place I look is, the couple places I look. One is brand and marketplace. Who's your target market? The second I look at is do the colors match the target market? The third thing I look at is your brand strategy when it comes to your social media. And many places have 10 different names all over the place. Well, the bottom line is a confused buyer doesn't buy. And so if they're hitting you from one platform and then they're moving to your master site or they're moving to somewhere else, if this isn't making sense to them, they'll just leave and find that next person. So you want to do something simple like this to ensure that you can easily be found. And that's the other thing as well, right? The key to this is you need to easily be found. And to do that, if somebody types in your company name, somebody's able to type in your personal name or whatever you establish your brand as, then you need it to go to you. You need your pages. Social media indexes in Google, very high. So you need to leverage that as an asset within your own brand leverage. Now,
Tracy, are you ready for a few questions?
Sure.
Okay. The first question is, please discuss any special tactics for reaching baby boomers.
Okay, so yeah, that's I could talk all day about how to reach a target market, right? So here's the thing. Today I'm going to unpack social media a little bit. When it comes to social media and baby boomers, the question then becomes, or any target market you have, where's your target market? So in the baby boomer world, if you want, that's who you want to reach. Now you say, okay, where are they? Are they on Facebook? Chances are they are, right? And so that might be where you need to hone in your efforts. If they're high professionals and you're a high ticket item seller and things of that nature, maybe LinkedIn then becomes your target market or your target platform. So this is the key strategy as to how do you reach your target market? First is you know them, which you've identified that you do. The second is then where are they hanging out? I'm going to be going through some of the statistics for the different social media platforms, which are going to help you say, oh, that's where I should be hanging out. If you're hanging out on the wrong social media platform, it's going to become rapidly obvious that you're wasting your time.
Second question, I've got 4 questions. How do you bridge the gap from followers who tend to be very passive to clients who really want to take advantage of your product or service?
I'm going to show you that.
Next question.
So
where do
put
you
a pin in that one? Put a pin in that one.
Where do you see needs being filled that aren't yet or not much? Thank you. Smiley face.
What do you mean by needs being met?
I don't understand the question either. Ramona, please type in, try again with your question.
Yeah.
I am about to open my spa. Yes, it is so much. What to get start from? Marina, don't understand that question. Please try it again.
So here's the thing, and I'll go through some of the pieces when it comes to a spa or a physical retail location, right? So I operate on every platform. And what I mean by that is I am a digital marketer. 95% of all my company is online and it runs and operates that way. But I also own a physical retail store. I also own rental properties. I also own Airbnb properties. And so some of the stuff that a spa would need are the same principles that get applied from a marketing standpoint for retail, Airbnb, and rental property promotions. And so that's going to be you're going to want to establish yourself for sure in Facebook. That's generally where people are going for local communities, and you want to join all local community Facebook groups.
Question from Suki. I realize that having a larger number of followers doesn't necessarily mean sales. Suki is a life coach. Can you discuss any tips?
A large number of followers. Let's pull back to that one. Let me go through the presentation a bit and unfold the whole package and then see if you still have that question.
Ashok wants to know, how do you change the login ID to your name, i.e. LinkedIn / Ashok Jamani ?
Yeah, okay. I do know how to do that. To do that is very technical for me to walk you through right now. I have videos that will show you exactly how to do that. It's really, you have to go to the pencil by your LinkedIn. These are technical though. Let me give you guys the overarching strategy first, and then the technical tips. Like I can tell you, you can do it. That's the great news, right? In YouTube, you can't. You're stuck with the name you got. But in LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, you can change these names to start to brand align. That's the key you need to know. The rest is easy to unfold.
No further questions. Back to you, Tracy.
Okay. All righty. Okay, so hidden gems to be heard above the noise. So let's go there. That is the leverage of hashtags. And so let me go through a little bit about this strategy. And again, I'm going to be talking about strategy. So the power on social media really comes from the hashtag. So the hashtag is that mechanism which allows you to jump onto a much bigger audience. Now, when you're sitting on your Facebook page and you have whatever, 500, I think I have, 18,000 on my fan page or something like that. That's all I have, right? But if I were to put hashtag something else, that now goes to areas that other people are following that are going to allow me to get a much broader exposure. So if you find all of your posts, particularly in Instagram or in Twitter, and again in Facebook and LinkedIn now, and you're doing them without a hashtag, it means you're missing out on the biggest secret out there, which is how to leverage almost other people's audiences. So if we take a look at, an Instagram here, to put hashtag $1 million listings for a real estate agent, that hashtag has 401,000 followers. And if you don't, you want to make sure that you're jumping on that bandwagon. The hashtag of real estate has over 7 million posts. And so when you're doing an effective post, you will talk about what you need to talk about, and then you'll start to hashtag it. And that means coming up with all the different bulletin boards, if you want to think about them like that you can be putting your notice. If you think about in the old days when we used to go to shopping malls, or we used to go to grocery stores and we'd pin up something on different bulletin boards, that's what this is like. And so that is a very huge market that you want to get into, and you want to start to establish yourself. The other thing I always do with my clients is I get them to establish a branded hashtag. That means something that you're going to be using in all your posts. Not only does it make it easy for you to track what you've posted, because now you can go to Google and type in your hashtag, you can go into Instagram, you can go in these different platforms and see what's there. But it allows you to establish yourself as that's what your core kind of niche is. So for an example, now I actually register my hashtags on twubs.com, and allows me to track, monitor them all from one dashboard. And so here's an example of a branded hashtag, win with win. And so this is one that I came up with for a women's organization, the Women's Information Network. My 3 hashtags that I operate with are Reach Millions, Message to Millions, and Quantum Leap. And then an example of a generic hashtag that I might jump on is something like hashtag entrepreneur. So you want to come up with something that it connects to you and your brand. And so these are my 3 major product lines, and that's how I monitor them. Now, where do you find hashtags, right? How do you know what to do in Instagram and Facebook and all of these other platforms? There is a service called all-hashtag.com. You will go there and you can enter stuff. So let's say I'm searching for hashtags that would apply to women. That is generally my target market, although I have many enlightened males. And let's say I do hashtag women. Then I can start to go through these and say which one of these would start to fit the post that I'm about to do. And let's say I want women, I would want like women in business and things of that nature. So I would start to look for hashtags like that. Generally, I'll do 5 searches and then piece together a nice pile. And I often come up with about 30 hashtags. That's what I use in Instagram. And you want to use the kind of the maximum in Instagram, especially if you're not established there, right? So you need to get on every bulletin board possible. Now, Facebook, LinkedIn, other social media platforms don't like it when you use too many hashtags. They're around 5 to 7, but Instagram doesn't care. They love it. All the people don't care. So you want to get into as many as possible. So when I'm doing a post, this is often what one of my Instagram hashtag clouds would look like, so that I can appear on all of these different platforms. So that's really one of the key elements to putting together a strategy that's going to allow you to reach way more than you can currently meet sitting in your own island, your own social media island. This is now like visiting 30 other countries and saying, oh, by the way, here's me, here's me, here's me, that type of thing.
Suki would like to know, for hashtags, do you also look at the other posts using the same hashtag to make sure it's similar to your post?
Yeah. So let's say, for example, let's say there's somebody in your field, similar, does really well. Call them a competitor if you'd like. You can go and see what hashtags are they using, right? What are they penetrating with? I teach real estate agents, chiropractors, physical therapists. I often teach all of these types of organizations to very much do that. Coaches, speakers, authors, tap into who those who do you want to be like, who do you aspire to be like, who do you want the audience of, and you can start to, of course, poach them a little bit in that sense. So you definitely want to look at what we'll call your competitors and what are they posting. You'll also notice many posts out there, particularly in Instagram, that have no hashtags, right? Well, generally, when people have no hashtags, it's because they're already an influencer. They don't need to tap into all these bulletin boards. They are an island of themselves. And that's simply how it is.
Heather wants to know if you would suggest Instagram for B2B business.
Well, yes and no. It depends on the age of your market, right? So, and I'm going to be going into each of the platforms in a minute. B2B generally is LinkedIn, but not if your target market's younger, right? It all depends on, are you going for the 30 to 35-year-old target market? And so that will make a big difference from that perspective.
Garang would like to know what you would suggest as an effective hashtag for financial services.
So I don't know that off the top of my head. I research is what I do. I will go to that tool that I told you about. I will type in something like hashtag financial services or hashtag financial or hashtag wealth building. And I will start to pull from those. And then what I do with that is I take it and I go into the actual platform and type it in. And I see what comes up. And is that where I want to be? Right. So because sometimes you'll think, oh, that's a great hashtag. You'll check it out and something weird is coming up for that. And so you don't want to be a part of that. So you'll say, I don't want that hashtag. I'm going to find something else. Then you definitely want to come up with some of your own branded ones. And again, coming up with a branded one takes a little bit of time. I do research on that. I take a look at what the company's about, what your end goal is, what your transformation is, things of that nature.
Suki wants to know if you suggest using the hashtag names when creating a customized target promotion for a post on Instagram.
Hashtag names. Now, do you mean other people's names or just a hashtag? And creating a customized target promotion.
Suki, maybe you would clarify.
Just the hashtag. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Obviously, I mean, what that lets, obviously when you're doing ads, they're going to get placed kind of according to the platform, the price you've bid, anything like that. But those hashtags will let the platform know, because much of that might be artificial intelligence based. It will let the platform know where you would like to be seen. And so it gives them it's kind of like setting up a category in a Facebook ad or things of that nature.
No further questions, Tracy, back to you.
Okay, so and then we're going to take the 80-20 rule to reach millions with your message. All right. The key here is to know your end game. So what do I mean by that? When you're doing a social media post, there's really 4 elements you want to be dealing with. The first is listening. So that's where you're going to manage your reputation, identify gaps, reduce returns, and increase retention. The next is you want to start to increase your influence. So that means increasing engagement, web traffic awareness, and retargeting. The next one is general networking, right? Where you're connecting with brands and peers on the web for strategic partnerships. And last but not least is selling. This is where you're generating leads and your sales from your social media. Now, the 80-20 rule means that you should be spending 80% of your time listening, influencing, and networking, and 20% of your time selling. So generally, what I do with my clients is I tell them to do a fast 10-minute social media audit. So that means go to your most dominant social media platform, take a look at the last 10 posts that you've done, and tick down, was it a listen? Was it a network? You know, was I establishing or leveraging influence, or was I selling? Now, usually you're going to find a couple of things here. Either you never sell or you're always selling. And then so you want to take a look at either adding that back if you're not at 80-20, or tapering that down if all you ever do is throw out sales opportunities, because you're not going to get your engagement and your conversion if that's all you're doing, because people will know that that's all you're about and they're not really going to get what they need. So this is a nice way for you to really do a little jump start and take a little look on what your social media platform looks like right now. All right, so let's take a look and do a breakdown of where we kind of are. All right, so Facebook, you know, over 2 billion active Facebook users. Again, 45 to 54 year age bracket is the fastest growing. Again, that's kind of the baby boomer sandwich type of thing. Average daily Facebook likes is 45 billion. Average number of messages is 10 billion, 53% female and 47% male. So it is not a platform where, you know, it goes to a dominant sex. B2B, the highest traffic is between 9 a.m. and then 3 to 4 p.m. and B2C is at 9, 12, and 4. So you want to be thinking about this if you're doing ad placements, if you're doing campaigns, or if you're scheduling your posts. Post length, it's really saying less is actually a higher read and higher converting. So watch the length of your posts. Every 60 seconds, 500 comments, 293 status updates, and 136,000 photos are uploaded. So there is a lot of activity occurring. So what is generally being leveraged in Facebook is a couple of things. The first is your personal page. Okay, so the Tracy Repchuk is an example of the personal page. Now, what happens there? You reach 5,000. Obviously, I keep constantly reaching 5,000, and then people have to kind of tip and spill over into the Tracy Repchuk fan area. So this has around 18,000 followers. And again, Facebook is not my dominant social media platform. So I really use Facebook for groups. And funnily enough, I'm actually leaving Facebook and moving to another platform. And so generally I am doing a lot. I was doing a lot of my group work in Facebook. So that's another area that you can leverage. Of course, when you have an event, you will promote it. I do promote my events on Facebook. I had Burbank Business Network. I no longer live in Burbank now. Women Business Breakthrough and Business Online Mastery is one that I've held for the last 15 years. And then you'll leverage it for ads. So those are the core activities that occur on the Facebook platform. Now, one of the best things that you can leverage on Facebook, of course, is the power of TV. Media is where it's going right now. So, of course, tapping into Facebook Live, and the major reasons to use Facebook Live, it helps you to establish and deepen your brand. It helps you to make announcements and communicate with your market. It creates this relationship of know, like, and trust. And you start to position yourself as that leader, as that authority, as kind of the best in your field. And so Facebook Live allows you to really start to do that. And obviously we saw a mammoth surge as of kind of Feb 2020 of what was getting broadcasted and leveraged on the platform. And of course, the beautiful part about this too is it helps you to create video content. Alrighty, now we'll take a look at LinkedIn. So this is actually one of my dominant platforms. It's a business-oriented social network, 766 million LinkedIn users, 8,000 groups are created weekly with a total of 1.5 million groups. 94% of recruiters use LinkedIn to vet candidates. I've been vetted on LinkedIn. 75.8% use it to research people and companies. I use it to research. 28.3% generate business opportunities. That's definitely something that I have historically done. Best post times 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and 5 to 6. Now, this makes sense when we're in the workaday world. When we hit Feb 2020 and everybody was sent home, it was a free for all at that moment. It didn't matter. Everybody was sitting on a social media platform trying to engage in some way, shape, or form. Microsoft acquired LinkedIn for a staggering $26 billion. More than 70% of the users are outside of the US. So this is something to think about as well. Now, when it comes to LinkedIn, again, that is was my dominant platform. I was the top 1% most viewed LinkedIn profiles. I think I'm at, I don't know, 27,000 followers right now. And I am a LinkedIn advisor. So it means that they listen to what I have to say and they invite me to their beta. Now, within the LinkedIn platform, there is a tool that you can leverage, and that is called the Sales/SSI. So this is your social selling index. So if you want to go see, how are your posts doing and things of that nature, then you can simply go there, click on it, and it's going to start to tell you what your rating is. Are you going up? Are you going down? Things of that nature. And it really just starts to give you a feel for, are people clicking, liking, and commenting. The other thing I really use, if you're a speaker on this call, LinkedIn was my highest converting social media platform for speaking gigs. I think I'm going to be coming up to it at some point, but I've spoken in 39 countries, and the majority of my gigs came from the LinkedIn platform, people finding me and me. Now we're going to take a look at Instagram. You will notice here now, Instagram has a skew, 68% female, 32% male. And it's a millennial, right? It's a millennial tool. So this is where knowing your target market is very important. Knowing who you need to appeal to is very important, because should you be spending your time on Instagram? Instagram is lovely and it's fun and it's beautiful pictures and it's aesthetic. But is it ever going to convert for you? That's a question you need to ask yourself. And that's why you need to determine where you're going to spend your time and your money. So there's 1 billion active users. Engagement is 52 times higher than Facebook, 84 times higher than Twitter, and 54 times higher than Pinterest. The use of the @ or hashtag gets 78% more engagement. It is the second largest social media platform next to Facebook, which is, of course, now owned by Facebook, who bought it for $1 billion. Mobile ad revenue is 2.8 billion for the year. So I think they made a pretty good deal. And 90% are younger than 35 years old. So if you're like myself, my general target market is people that are 45 years old and up. So they're not generally on Instagram. I create an Instagram presence simply because it is a popular platform, but I do not spend a lot of time here at all. Of the top 100 brands, 90% are on Instagram. And of course, just a little list there of some of the businesses that seem to do very well. Obviously, if you're a photographer, you need to be on Instagram, right? It also depends on your kind of what it is that you do. And here's just an example of some layout structures you can start to incorporate. You can mix in pictures yourself. You can do the quotes. You can, some are this, and then some become an actual selling feature. Again, the 80-20 rule applies. You can create color schemes. You can blend and align with your brand, or you can just do a free for all, right? You can just post and post whatever matters to you or is part of your strategic marketing plan for the week, the month, the year, whatever it is that you are working on. All righty. YouTube, obviously, YouTube is just crushing it. It always has, simply because of what it is. So it reaches more adults than any cable network. 300 hours of video is uploaded every minute. 5 billion videos are viewed a day. More videos uploaded to YouTube in 1 month than the 3 major US networks created in 60 years. Over 700 YouTube videos are shared on Twitter every minute. The average viewing time is 1 hour from mobile. And it is, of course, the #2 search engine in the world, only to the #1, which is Google, which highly tells you one of the strategies you must employ in YouTube is to understand your keywords, right? You need to know what your key, who you're targeting with that video, what is the search phrase they're looking for, and then you need to integrate that in all of the fields and the tags of the YouTube setup. That's something I'm huge on. I never post a video if I don't intend on fully search engine optimizing it. Alrighty, and your opportunity is only 9% of US small businesses use YouTube effectively. So there's a huge area here for you to really be able to penetrate. For reasons you want YouTube or you want video in particular is when someone is searching, online videos get good ranking. Obviously, Google, the parent of YouTube, is going to feed that data to the top. You can show versus say that, picture's worth 1,000 words. And for Instagram, well, a video is actually even more powerful. You can promote testimonials. It's so much easier to really convey a message. And it is the most powerful SEO strategy, search engine optimization, keyword-based strategy out there next to blogging. But even blogging is extremely difficult to penetrate because you're doing a mass competition against all of the websites. In this situation, you're going against videos in a very particular category. And so it is far easier to penetrate when I release my videos. On average, I am in the top 3 or 4 positions as soon as I post. And here's what it kind of looks like from a posting. And so again, video content, search engine optimized marketing, things that you don't think you can even penetrate are effectively done through optimized keywords. Obviously, when for example, some of my highest hitting videos are around how to set up and brand Zoom. And I just did this one, and there's the keywords, right? How to set up branding in Zoom. Then I added beginner's guide to Zoom because it had another keyword element in it. And again, it just got some really pretty decent traction for that. And again, it's one of my favorite videos that I optimize. And my favorite part about all of the Zoom videos that I've done is I can get people such an amazing price on Zoom. $12.99 for the elite version, kind of, and so I use it as a selling tool as well. All right, and in comes the newbies. For those of you who have not done an addiction yet to TikTok, I don't know whether to say you're missing out or to be a little grateful because it is highly addictive. 800 million registered users, 1 billion video views per day, 41% are aged 16 to 24. So it's a very young market. Average time is 52 minutes per day on the app, formerly called Musical.ly. And Lauren Gray was originally on that platform, and she then signed to Virgin and Capitol Records. So she became one of the biggest influencers now on TikTok. The fastest growing demographics, however, now is adults. So we're starting to get some traction there. And it's available in more than 200 countries. And it is the second biggest app in consumer spending. TikTok rakes in more than YouTube, Disney Plus, Tencent Video, and Netflix. It's staggering at 27 billion in ad revenue. So if you thought TikTok wasn't a player, it's a wrong thinking strategy because it is unbelievable the amount of money that is being produced over there. These guys are now valued at over $100 billion, and the popularity is driven by the music. Everyone can just sit there and listen to the songs, and at the same time, you're just staring at something. So you can integrate and create videos to music that apply to your business. And there's the valuation. Now, then the next one that came along. This was like a throwback to 1920s where we're all sitting around the radio or whatever, because television wasn't invented. Along came Clubhouse. So it started in April 2020, audio-based social app, podcast platform, invitation only. So that was one of the unique elements that it had. 10 million users, rapidly popular users, and really Elon Musk became part of the reason that it catapulted from 1,500 users to, of course, I think it went then to 1.5 million and now is at the 10 million mark. Now, of course, the celebs are hanging out there: Mark Zuckerberg, Oprah Winfrey, Kevin Hart, Mark Cuban, and of course, some major influencers, Gary Vee and Grant Cardone. So many users claim they spend over 40 hours a week on Clubhouse, and that is the problem. You think you're being productive, you think you're doing something, only it's not converting and it's not producing revenue. And so it becomes one of those cycles that is hard to break out of, simply because it's trending so strongly that you feel like you should be there. You feel that's the fear of missing out. And so you're constantly going to it thinking that something's going to happen. The average, though, are claiming 9 to 11 hours, and there's a popular after hours room called Back of the Bus. They are currently valued over $1 billion, and they became one of the official unicorns along with Uber and Airbnb. So that is kind of the overview of the social media platforms. And, based on your target market, this is where you need to start positioning yourself on. Okay, I think maybe I should check out TikTok. I think I should get off of Clubhouse. I think you're going to start to figure out what should you be doing with your time, because that's the one resource you're not going to get back. Alrighty, so now shortcuts for more sales in social media. Let's take a look at some of these. One of the questions I got was related to book publication, and I'm going to give you my story here when it comes to this. So social media is great, right? It's unbelievable. You're talking to somebody that came from the knocking on door to door in the early days, or the direct mail, or the postcards, or the yellow pages. If you weren't in the yellow pages, you were as dead as dust, right? I was spending $8,000 a month on yellow pages for my software company in 1985. So, it's a very expensive endeavor. Now, social media often gives us this illusion that it's free and it's cheap, etc. But the thing is, if you're going to spend time on social media, you got to realize that it is the net that you're casting out there. And if you're fishing, you need to now pull the fish in. But the key is, you don't want to pull the fish in just to that social media platform, because you don't own them. You need to pull those fish into your list, your database. You need to be driving everybody to a landing page. That's my number one activity, is I drive all traffic to a landing page. I don't care about my tracyrepchuk.com site. It is overwhelming, like every other website is. There's so much there. People wouldn't know what steps to take. You want to focus everyone's attention. People have, attention deficit disorder. You have 3 seconds to get their attention. I need them in that 3 seconds to decide they want to give me their name and their email address. That's what I'm doing. So this is a strategy you want to highly employ, and that is driving, especially when I talk about that 20% sales, right? If you're not creating a list, this is the piece where your company may not grow. It might be the detriment to your being in control of your growth. In the early days, again, I had the Rolodex, I had Act, Maximizer, Goldmine, where we were building the list. But when the landing page came in, I've been talking about the landing page now for 15 years. When it came in, that was the game change. It changed everything. And so what do you do on the landing page, right? You're doing one thing, you're solving their pain. So this isn't my landing page, for example, is fastactionresults.com. that alludes to solving their pain. How am I going to solve it? I'm going to give you a guide. You're going to give a gift that will rapidly help them through a pain that they are experiencing. So these are just a couple of examples of different landing pages that you may encounter. And you'll notice that, again, we're talking about the pain, right? And giving the gift. This isn't about us. This isn't about how amazing we are yet. This is about, you have a pain, no problem. This is how I'm going to solve it. Now, why am I so passionate about the landing page? It's because without the landing page, this goes back to that person who had a question about a book. Without the landing page, I never would have become a best-selling author. So when I first started in the industry back in 2006 as an internet marketer, and I came out with a book called 31 Days to Millionaire Marketing Miracles. It was the A to Z of internet marketing. It became the Bible of internet marketing back then. And it was, the reason it became so popular is what I did before that. And that was build a landing page and drive all traffic while I was writing the book. So this went to number one in the day where there was no Kindle, there was no, print on demand, there was none of these little tactics you could play with Amazon per se. This was, I had 5,000 books in my garage. That's how you had a book back then. And so launched a number one on Amazon, and that was the game change for me. And how did it do that? It did that because I had 3,500 people in my database, in my own personal list that I had accumulated during that 3 months that I was writing the book that I launched to. Well, 3,500 people, when they go and buy the book, it's a game change on Amazon. And of course, that led me to number one. Later, Wiley Publishing, North America's largest publisher, picked up the book. They relaunched it under the same name, under theirs, 31 Days to Millionaire Marketing Miracles. So that's what it looks like right now. And it went to number one in the US, in Canada, and the UK, all in the same day. It currently has over 160 testimonials on Amazon, and became the catalyst to how I got to my next step. So I took the content from the book, and some people started to contact me from Amazon and say, can you coach me? And I said, yes, I can. It was a $10,000 program called Entrepreneur in Overdrive. I would walk them through the steps of the book. Establish your target market, build a landing page, get your products in order and your pricing, build your funnel, get your website, all of the steps. And I'd just walk them through that. And so as a result, I made 6 figures in a few months, and that led me to win New Internet Marketing Success of the Year. I was the first woman to win that award from the World Internet Summit. They called me and they told me I had won, and they flew me, all expenses paid, from California to Singapore to appear on my very first stage. And so the reception of that moment, me being a woman in internet marketing, winning that award, was so overwhelming that it was such a huge result that the World Internet Summit picked me up. I was on their speaker circuit for 5 years as the only woman with 15 other men. And so we started to speak around the world. That's how I've spoken in over 39 countries, including starting to, of course, after the World Internet Summit, I was then a keynote speaker at the World Economic Leaders Summit for social media. And that was in China. And that's for heads of states. It was for top CEOs and presidents. And so that was an amazing honor indeed for that moment. I've won awards from the Senate, the Assembly, the White House, and President Obama for the work that I've done, particularly in Kuwait, for opening up the first women's center in Kuwait, because prior to that, they were unable to be entrepreneurs. And then it led to me getting all sorts of appearances on television for social media. I'll run this for a second. You can let me know if you can hear it.
5 News This Morning starts right now.
Tracy Repchuk is a best-selling author and an online marketing and technology expert. She is
Activity online. Tracy Repchuk is a social media specialist and author, and she's created
because there's actually even a better way. And Tracy Repchuk is here today. She's a best-selling author, our technology expert today, talking about apps.
Online safety for kids, specifically social media safety. Tracy Repchuk here this morning with some great advice. Tracy is a mom of 3 teens, best-selling author, founder of Social Media Safety for Kids.com. Tracy's kids are
just as passionate about keeping your kids safe on social media. Tracy Repchuk has been working with technology since she was 19 years of age, and now she has 3 active teens on
social media expert and author Tracy Repchuk has an app for every occasion, and I'm so pleased to say she joins us this morning.
What to do with your kids in the heat? Well, best-selling author Tracy Repchuk.
Our next guest is a mother of 3 teens and the author of Social Media Safety for Kids, and she is here with tips to keep your kids safe online this summer and the upcoming school year. Joining us now is Tracy Repchuk. Thanks for joining us, Tracy.
You're welcome.
To help parents keep their children safe while online. And Tracy joins us in the studio today. Nice to see you. And the great thing for parents,
school time can be very exciting. Repchuk, the best-selling author of 31 Days to Millionaire Marketing and Miracles. Hello, it is lovely to see you again.
Thank you, Tara.
So that's how I reached 20 million people in a single year, was the television appearances. So when I'm helping clients to reach more with their message, it's a 4-pronged approach. It's social media and internet, it's the book, it's the speaking, and it's the television. So that's how you kind of unfold an entire package. But first we want to start here with the social media end of things. I then went on to become a 9-time #1 international best-selling author with different books that I've published. And that allows you to go from the sea of sameness to move up to becoming a specialist, an expert, an authority, and ultimately an influencer and thought leader. And that's really what you want to do. That's the whole kind of mechanism of unpacking particularly your business online. And then in order to do that, you need to be focused on the right stuff, because your business is only as strong as your weakest link. This is where you really need to start to break away from the pack. And that's why when you're ready to play a bigger game and you really want to put it all together, that one of the programs that I developed can easily help you do it. It's almost the shortcut to all of this. It's a program called The Science of Social Media. And within that, there's over 130 training videos, mind maps, blueprints, checklists, and guides for 11 different platforms. So this is kind of the whole package that helps to put it all together. So let me just show you what that looks like, and then I will also start to take additional questions. This program starts you off with a media planner. Most people don't plan their social media properly, which means it's like throwing spaghetti on the wall and hoping something sticks. So we give you that. Just added, and again, Roger and I had this conversation when he booked me to speak, and he said, you know what, we need Clubhouse, we need TikTok. And I said, fine. And so I made sure that both of these programs were in this version of the platform and of the program. So you're going to get what you need to know about Clubhouse. You're going to get everything you need to know about TikTok. And of course, I'm going to unpack Facebook, all the way down to, how do you do effective posts? How do you do it for marketing? And then Facebook Live. How do you do a show? How do you create a pattern of engagement so that people are watching you? And ultimately, what do we want? We want to send them to the landing page so that you can build your list. That's where the 90% of your selling should be occurring, is in your email marketing funnels once somebody hits the list. Social media is our net to pull them in so that we have someone to effectively market to. Then everything you need to know about Instagram, what you need to know about Twitter, what you need to know about Periscope, which is of course Twitter's version of Facebook Live. LinkedIn is one of my strongest and most powerful platforms. Like I said, I have garnered a lot of clients from LinkedIn and a ton of international speaking gigs where they take a look at the process. How do you write your profile effectively? How do you attract the person that you want to? LinkedIn is its own search engine. Everything is keyword based. It was a search engine tool written for human resources. And again, because of my background in programming, search engine, and keywords, this is what I knew very early on. And that's how I was able to dominate on this platform and of course, help you too. YouTube, another great place for strategy, especially now. Videos, you need to be cranking these out and you need to have a message and then you need to drive them somewhere. Where do you want to drive them? Drive them to your landing page. If you don't know how to do a landing page, reach out. We have a whole we build it for you program. Then how do you leverage Pinterest? It's that quiet guy in the background, but he is an incredibly powerful tool. And the thing I'll tell you about TikTok, I already hit it. TikTok, if you want monster hits on your Instagram, do a TikTok first and then post it to your Instagram. That gets you the biggest bang for your buck there. Snapchat, for anyone who's in that marketplace, again, it's a younger crowd, but adults still are picking up on this. And then I want to double my offer to help guarantee your results. And that I'm going to throw in a program called Success Rituals. What do you do in the morning, before you wake up, in the morning, at lunch, at dinner? And the top successful people like Mark Zuckerberg and that, were analyzed. Their habits were really broken down into 6 success habits and then documented through this program. So that's really going to help you to keep in good habits. It is so easy to get distracted because of the number of social media platforms, the things we're supposed to be doing. Now I know I need to know keywords. There's a new platform hitting the marketplace that everyone needs to know about. Everything happens so rapidly that when you have some success rituals in place, this helps you to keep your focus. Then I'm going to add one more element to those of you who choose to take advantage of this program. And then I'm going to do a live Q&A call. There is a new major social media platform about to explode right now. I'm going to show you how do you get your account, how do you secure your name, how do you start to position yourself as an influencer, and how to get on this platform so that you can jumpstart your results. This moment here is going to be like being the first people on LinkedIn, the first people on Facebook, the first people on YouTube, the first people on Instagram. This is a really rare moment in time for you to be knowing about this. Why do I know about it? I was brought on to this startup in March of 2020 as the vice president. So this is something that I know intimately, and I'm going to be able to take you through what is about to occur in the next few months. It is unbelievably exciting. I can barely contain myself on that one. And it's why the majority of my activity has been migrating, and all I'm using my other social media platform for is a feeder system. So normally this whole program is $497. Again, for EIN members, we're doing a special of $197. And to get that, you simply go to thescienceofsocialmedia.com and put in the code SSM for Science of Social Media 197. SSM is all in caps. It's thanks to Roger. You are getting this deal today. And so it's pretty, you can thank him later for this. And the other thing I'm going to include as well is instead of it being a one-year program for you where you get access to all the social media content, training content for 1 year, I'm going to give you lifetime access to this. This is priceless because those that joined earlier, you know, I just added Clubhouse and TikTok in the last 3 months. I'm going to be adding the new social media platform in probably a month or two. You're going to continue to get that. All social media platforms that come down the pipeline that bear any weight at all or need the attention of a business owner, I put in there. Tons are gone, right? I had a whole thing on Blab. I had a whole thing on Google Hangouts. I had a whole thing on Google Plus, right? Those are social media platforms that are now gone and gone from the platform, but they were there, which means you don't have to be spending a lot of money over and over because it's going to hit the science of social media. You're going to have access to it for the amazing price of $197 for lifetime. Okay, so that's the unpacking of that. Here's how you do it. You'll click on join. It will take you to a screen that looks like this. You'll go to this promo code field. You'll put in SSM197. You'll hit apply, and it will then activate the new price. So one of the, I'll answer some questions now, Roger. One of them says, what is your suggested frequency of posting? Every platform is different. For example, Instagram doesn't like a lot of posts, right? Maybe 2 a day. Facebook, you might be posting more frequently, depending on what's going on, right? You have something current that happens. Maybe you have engagement assets. You put an article out, or you're just asking questions. Facebook is a lot more rapid in that way, and the thread goes away so quickly, kind of like Twitter, right? Twitter's insane. You could do 20, 30 posts a day on Twitter and not generally not overwhelm because you're going to be hitting different people at different times of the day. So it's really about the social media platform you choose. In LinkedIn, it's generally a post a day, right? You don't go crazy over on LinkedIn. They're business people. They have only so much time, things of that nature, right? And again, when it comes to, you're not even posting on Clubhouse, you're just generally listening and people are there all the time. Yes, you'll be able to do this tomorrow, Marina. So that's not a problem because Roger still has all of this to set up. He's got to set up the replay and everything. So he's making it fair to his normal cycle of people that need to see this on the replay for that offer as well. Awesome.
There's no further questions, Tracy.
Yeah, we did it.
We're pretty much on time anyway.
Perfect.
So on behalf of EIN's members and meetups, we collectively thank you. This was just an excellent presentation that for me served to simplify this bewildering, I don't even know what the collective for social media platforms is, but anyway, it simplified the whole complex area of social media. And for that, on behalf of EIN, I thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you, Roger, really for what you guys are doing. The entrepreneurs group that you have built is truly impressive. And I'm really blessed and honored to be featured here.
Thank you, Tracy.